Hello, Marathon High School Falcons and families. It's Mr. Wilson from my lazy living room on a lazy living room Sunday because it is too cold and I am too lazy to go outside because winter has arrived, or at least cold temperatures have. What has also arrived is our last full week of classes for semester number 1. That's right. This week, 5 days of classes. Next week, only 4 days of classes because exams start on Friday, January the 26th. It means that every day counts, I would say more now than ever. This is the opportunity for students to use time to show their learning with teachers, to ask questions, to look for support as we wrap the semester up. Many classes are doing exam review or working on independent study projects and culminating assignments. So time is of the essence. Make sure you're coming to school. Make sure you're using the most of your time. And again, reaching out for those supports. More information about the exam schedule will be shared this week. I'm just finalizing that schedule with our teaching staff, but not all classes have exams. In fact, many grade 9s will only have 1, maybe 2 exams this semester. And on the days that you don't have an exam, of course, you don't need to come to school if you don't have anything scheduled with other teachers to wrap up coursework. So more to come. Moving into this week and the weeks to come, though, a couple of things to talk about. Let's start with a shout out to all of our Falcons volunteers. Not just volunteers in the school, we have lots of those for which I'm eternally grateful, but also Falcons in the community. Almost everywhere I go, evening and weekend events, I run into somebody from Marathon High School who is doing something for our community. It might be in the arena, it might be at the library, it might be at a community organization in Mobert or Beegtagong, but lots of great commitments from our Falcons. And also a shout out to our parents and caregivers who are volunteering. I see you and I appreciate and recognize all of the things that you do for our community, and really appreciate how volunteering just makes Marathon, Nutmissakimig, and Beegtagong great places to live. For those of you who might be interested in volunteering at the high school, we do have volunteer opportunities for our parents, caregivers, and families. Maybe you want to do something like join our school and parent council, which meets throughout the year to support some of the direction that the school is going in and some of the needs we're addressing. Or maybe you just want to do something like bake us Rice Krispie squares and chocolate chip cookies, or come and serve hot dogs and soup to our Falcons, or something like that. Maybe you want to participate in an extracurricular activity as a staff coach or staff advisor. We could talk about those opportunities. Volunteering goes a long way to building community in the school, and we certainly count on our Falcons and families to help us with that. And for those who are already doing it, again, a huge thanks. The other thing I want to talk about is a little bit more serious, and that is some of the anti-oppression and anti-racism work that I am doing. And this work is, it's coming up because there's a need for it. There's a need to learn about it, to understand it, and certainly to address it. Over the past semester, I've unfortunately dealt with multiple incidences of racist acts or oppressive acts towards marginalized and minority-seeking groups. Sometimes it's thinly disguised as a joke. Sometimes it's a little bit more explicit. It might be a word, it might be an action. And the reality is, it is not acceptable. I know that we need to do work in building that awareness and education with our Falcons, because everybody has a right to learn. But I also have a responsibility as a principal to ensure that the school is a place of safety, belonging, and inclusion, which means that once that support and education is provided, we also have to talk about the school code of conduct and about potential discipline, and also, more importantly, how participating in these acts can unfortunately stick with us for a very, very long time. So as we deal with, as we confront this issue, know that we're coming from a place of care. Know that we're coming from a place of knowing that we're maybe not all the experts, but that we have to build that responsibility together to make sure our school is a welcoming, safe, equitable, and inclusive space. So stay tuned for that, because I'll be sharing resources for our families so that you can help support those conversations at home. But let's end with some other cool stuff, because there's lots of cool stuff and lots of successes. We're going to address what we need to address, but we're going to continue to recognize success, including the debut or soon to be debuted Falcons Fashion Thrift Store. This has been a product of some students from our senior leadership class, and the ball is rolling to get this ready for semester 2. It will be an excellent space for students to find fashion and other products at a very reasonable price for those who need that service. Thank you to our Falcons and families who have and continue to donate gently used clothing, and school products, school supplies for this cause. We also are excited to announce the very soon to open up Falcons Fitness and Weight Room. This has been the brainchild of teacher Ms. Tara Borelli. We have been successful in obtaining some equipment. We have the expertise and the enthusiasm of tons of students and staff to get our fitness room off the ground. We're going to pump you up. If you remember that old Saturday Night Live skit, I am excited about this. Also on Friday this week, the leadership class is hosting a winter formal dance from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. Information is posted throughout the school. Students are expected to be in regular attendance this week in order to be eligible to get to the dance. You're going to do that anyway, though, of course. But this is going to be a nice, fun, formal event, and I'm excited for it. And on Tuesday this week, our Falcons are at Lake Superior High School for some volleyball and basketball action. So that is fantastic too. Last but not least, I've mentioned it before, but this is where I will end. Students, not a ton of time remaining this semester, so make sure if you need support, you ask for support. And if you haven't touched base with Miss Bernard yet, touch base with Miss Bernard. Make sure that everything's on the up and up for your semester 2 classes, that we know the pathways that you're interested in, or maybe if there's any other pieces or supports we can provide you so that you see some success. Anyway, that was lots. This was a long video, but I had lots to talk about. So Falcons, stay warm this week. Enjoy this last full week of the semester. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Cheers.